Welcome once again to Kit's Rock Review. This is Turn It On Again, our month-long tribute to the band Genesis. And today is our penultimate episode, episode number 29. That means we only have one more episode left after today. And we're going to head to the We Can't Dance album once again, the final studio album that Phil Collins recorded with the band Genesis back in the early 90s. In fact, we're going to go to the very last song on that album, Fading Lights, which is one of my favorite Genesis songs of all time. I would say it's in my top 3 Genesis songs. And it's definitely my favorite on the We Can't Dance album. This song was actually one of the last to be recorded by the band for We Can't Dance. And its working title was called The Nile, because when they were recording it, like all the songs on We Can't Dance, it started out as a jam. And when they were jamming and as the music developed, it reminded them of traveling slowly up a river. So, what's the longest river in the world? Or one of the longest rivers in the world, but the Nile. So they called the song The Nile until they got lyrics for it. This song is the longest song on the We Can't Dance album, coming in at 10 minutes and 16 seconds. And Tony Banks calls it a traditional Genesis instrumental for its middle section. I mean, there are lyrics in it, but he calls the middle section a traditional Genesis instrumental. And of course, that's my favorite part of the song, is that middle instrumental section. It contains a Tony Banks keyboard solo. And at the beginning of the month, when I started this, one person commented, "Who doesn't like a Tony Banks keyboard solo?" So, listen to We Can't Dance, listen to Fading Lights, the middle section, and you'll hear a Tony Banks keyboard solo. However, despite the fact that Tony Banks calls it a traditional Genesis instrumental, and by that he means, stuff they're known for recording in the 70s, that instrumentals. Phil Collins actually said, no, it's not a very traditional Genesis instrumental. One, there's a drum machine in it, and they didn't use the drum machines in the 70s. And two, Phil Collins said that it doesn't have that many chords in it. And Genesis is known for having songs, especially their instrumentals and their instrumental sections of songs with lots of chords in them. And he said, Fading Lights only contains 4 or 5 chords, so it's not a very traditional instrumental for Genesis. I don't know. I have a hard time playing a song with 3 chords, so. Anyway, this song was played live on the Way We Walk tour, which was the tour to support We Can't Dance. It was also played, it wasn't really played by the band, but during the Turn It On Again tour in 2007, when the band left the stage, that was played on these arena speakers. Anyway, during the Way We Walk tour, when the song was played, it was only played by the Genesis trio of 3 members. Only Tony Banks, Mike Rutherford, and Phil Collins were on stage when it was played. Their touring musicians of Daryl Stuermer and Chester Thompson, they didn't participate in the Fading Lights. So it is actually the Genesis trio on that song. Now on the current tour, they do play parts of Fading Lights on the Last Domino tour. And when they start playing it, it's only the 3 official members of Genesis on stage. Mike Rutherford's there with his guitar, and he actually has the guitar, the 6-string or the 12-string guitar double bass that he has, but he's playing the 12-string guitar part. And Tony Banks is sitting at the keyboards playing away, and Phil Collins is sitting down singing, and it's only the 3 members when it starts. However, unlike the early 90s when they get to the middle instrumental part, then you have Nick Collins come in on drums and Daryl Stuermer come in on guitar. And they don't play the full, on this current tour, they don't play the full Fading Lights instrumental. It leads into a medley of older songs, riding the screen from The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway is part of it. But it's a cool way to do it. And it sort of shows a continuity of the music of Genesis. Now, when We Can't Dance was recorded, when Fading Lights was recorded, they didn't plan it this way, but I do think it's appropriate that Phil Collins ends his tenure on a Genesis studio album with Fading Lights. When Tony Banks wrote the lyrics for the song, he wrote the lyrics the lyrics are about nostalgia and about thinking about the past. The producer for Genesis for that album was Nick Davis, and he says it's one of Tony Banks' terminal songs about endings. And the narrator is looking back on the past. And the very last word that Phil Collins sings on his very last Genesis studio album is "Remember." So here are the lyrics from the We Can't Dance booklet. I don't know how well you can see them, but right here, if you look, it does say "Remember." So the last thing Phil Collins sang when he recorded an album with Genesis was "Remember." And I think that's very appropriate. I will place a video for the song Fading Lights in the comments. Let me know what you think. Was it an appropriate... what do you think of the song in general? I think it's an amazing song. Tell me what you think about it. And also, is it an appropriate song to end Phil Collins' tenure with Genesis with, even if it wasn't intentional on their part? So, We Can't Dance, last song, song 12, Fading Lights, goes on for over 10 minutes. Awesome song. Tomorrow is our final episode of this Turn It On Again, a month-long tribute to the band Genesis. I will see you then. Until that time, keep on rocking in the free world.